No, I didn't. Okay. So, Brian Wang, here we are again, yet again, on a Monday night, though, because Larry Goldberg is busy traveling. He's somewhere in the Midwest, I think, maybe Memphis or some such place. I'm not sure. Anyway,
Mhm.
interesting day in the market today. We had Tesla overnight, 5 points up, and then all of a sudden, it just dropped that 5 points like a hot rock, and then stayed flat the rest of the day. So, what were you thinking when you were watching all that?
It is still moving in the noise. Like it's still within this trading wedge thing, and that wedge is like I don't know, plus or minus $15, something like that. So all these movements are market manipulation. It's people cashing out whatever. So it's random noise until it breaks out. So until it goes like over a clear breakout would be over 350 and then staying there. 360. It's a descending wedge, so
Mhm.
it needs to move up over that. So potentially if we have a good earnings call, that kind of 20, 25 point move would be getting out of the wedge. Although it could just do a move up, not good enough, and kind of like hangs at just below, and then it keeps going sideways for a while. But a distinctive clear move is possible. And also can go down. It can drop to the bottom of the channel, it can drop out. So those are the kind of technical moves. But this kind of like not much happening, kind of sideways, kind of up, kind of down is where we're stuck in a congestion zone, as the technical guys like to call it.
A congestion zone. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So, well, we had a lot of good news. The opening of the Tesla diner seems to be very popular.
Mhm.
It seemed like it was a very well done opening. A lot of fun. We got to see Optimus making some popcorn and stuff. So, while I don't think that moves the stock, it's certainly a positive kind of a good fluff news story. It is
Mhm.
a promotion. It's something that will help to promote the brand in
Mhm.
a positive way, in a fun way, which is, of course, part of the Tesla story.
Mhm.
Um, so over the weekend, though, since I last talked to you on Friday, I mean, it seemed like pretty much good news all weekend.
Right. Yeah, Elon saying he's back 24/7, except when his young kids are around, for presumably for Tesla mainly, but presumably for all his companies,
Sure.
that he's back working hard doing that. And then he talked about, robotaxi expansion, various other um, rumors of robotaxi expansion to all of Austin within weeks. Um, so those are positive news. And then we have the continued um, everything's going good with FSD going next level. Just making sure that by applying what they've done with robotaxi software in Austin, but then making sure they haven't overfit. So they're doing a bit more testing. So it seems like it's something that's ready, and then we'll see what that means or does. Yeah.
So this morning on my show, I did a whole bunch of analysts. I think I had seven total analysts reporting this morning, giving their opinions, and kind of the range was mostly 300 to 340. You have the outliers, I forget who it is that's always down there at 120 or whatever. Bank of America raising their estimate from I think 315 to 340. But just now, Sawyer Merritt was reporting that Piper Sandler came in with this. A lot of people are very worried about the ZEV credits. And so Piper Sandler did some analysis, and they said it's not as bad as you think. We frequently receive questions about the regulatory credits, and for good reason, because the company did 3.5 billion last year. That was free cash flow, basically the entire free cash flow for last year. He says, in short, we think the answer is no, it is not going to hurt the earnings outlook that much, at least in 2025. We think that it's true that U.S. government is committed to rescinding the financial support for the EV and battery industries. Tesla will still book though about 3 billion in credits this year, followed they think by 2.3 billion in 2026. So this is the first analysis I've seen where somebody has actually apparently done some work to try to figure out how much of it is going to go away and how much of it isn't. Have you done any analysis on this at all, or seen any other analysis to say whether this might be right or wrong or indifferent?
I haven't seen any analysis that was particularly good because back when it was $300 million a quarter,
300
yeah,
bill, oh,
300
300
million,
billion. Yeah,
300 million a quarter for
yeah,
Tesla, right? Everyone kept saying it's going to go away, it's going to go away, and then it increased to 700, $800 million a quarter, and
right.
I think sometimes as much as like a billion. So um, anyone who was an expert saying it was going to go away clearly is an idiot and wrong, right? So they didn't know what was happening with that. Um, so I haven't seen anyone able to call the, quarter by quarter number, right? And I haven't seen anyone say, here's, so that's the first one that says, okay, here's how much we expect per year. So that would be, if it was $3 billion, then you expect about $750 million per quarter, right? Um, but in terms of the lumpiness of it or being able to predict it and saying where's it all coming from, it's it's not to the point where I say, oh yeah, you guys got that totally figured out. You know exactly who's paying it, you know exactly how it's flowing, you know exactly how it's all happening, right? This kind of I'll explain it after it came out kind of thing. That doesn't mean anything. Like if you tell me here's the ranges for Q2 and then here's the range for Q3, here's the range for Q4, and then those numbers stay in that range, oh, I can say, okay, now yeah, I can think you got something, right? But they haven't done that. They just kind of like hand wavy things saying, hey, it's gonna be 3 billion and then 2 billion. And it's like, you know, plus or minus 30%, right? Maybe that's as close as you can get.
Right.
But to me, until you call it before. You're Babe Ruth, you're saying it's going to go over there, and then you hit it over there. It's kind of like, it's like I'm coming up, maybe I hit it, maybe I don't. I'm swinging, and then I can explain it afterwards. You know, Troy Teslake is better than that, and he's off by time, right? But if you say my error rate is this, and
Yeah.
here's what the number is, right? Then it's something.
Yeah, and so he keeps his price target at 400. He says he sees no reason to change his price target of 400. Of
Yeah,
course, his price target is way under your and my price target, but that's okay. We'll give him credit for being that high.
yeah.
So then to your point earlier, here was the conversation with Sawyer Merritt, Elon Musk, Stuart Zuckerman, Holmore's blog. Anyway, so Elon said that the new version is a completely new version of the software. It's a new version of the software, the FSD, but will merge to the main branch soon. He's talking about the version being used in Austin for robotaxi. He says we have a more advanced model in alpha stage that has 4 times the parameters, but still requires a lot of polishing. So then Sawyer Merritt responds, can we expect this in quarter 3? And Elon says, looking good so far.
Okay.
So quarter 3 for the completely new version with 4 times the parameters, the one that they're using in Austin. Does that mean we get unsupervised?
For every person who
Yeah.
has, I think, yeah, if you had what's working in Austin, which is almost unsupervised, it has the safety monitors, right? And it's clearly a lot better than what people currently have in their cars. And then if you have a 4 times the parameter situation, where it's again another step up, right? Then seems like you would have an unsupervised version. The 4 times the parameter thing clearly is difficult because they've been talking about that since October or September last year, right? They said, hey, here's the list of stuff, and then we're working on, I think we were talking about 3 times the parameters, right? But they didn't give a date to it. So it's not like, oh, you're gonna do it for a day. They just said it's coming, and now it's still coming, right? And it's again, it's fantastic, but we'll see it when it comes out. And you expect it to be better based upon other AI with more parameters. More parameters in general is substantially better.
Right.
So yes, I would expect if we get robotaxi and get another level up, then would be that would be unsupervised, working everywhere. To me, that would be it. Worst case, need one more step up from there. But um, two major moves, three major moves in terms of the software, based on how close we are. That it's really good for people now when they pay attention to it, and that you can get to the point where you can just be in the passenger seat, right? If for Robotaxi in Austin, and you get better than that, you seem to like you're there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So then there's this from Andre Shepard. He's got a 13% trim to Tesla's second quarter revenue. And they were calling it a shot across the bow in this particular article. The Cantor Fitzgerald analyst discussed disappointing deliveries, soft energy revenue, which is going to be for one quarter, lowering his estimate from 24 billion to about 21 billion. That's really low. Most people are around 22 and a half for the revenue. He says that's a major reset in investor expectations just a couple of days before Tesla opens its books. He's expecting quarter two. Well, we know quarter two deliveries came in at 384. Still, he's not turning bearish. Shepard held firm on his buy rating and a 355 price target, suggesting roughly an 8% upside from here. He expects Tesla will update its full year outlook. Well, that's an interesting thing. Nobody's been talking about that very much. Last year in the second quarter, Tesla did give us at the second quarter call, they gave us a year, the balance of the year, their expectations. So that'd be nice if we get that. And with a clear timeline for its low-cost EV, he's expecting that. That's another thing everybody's looking for. He says the Model Q, of course, that we call it now, was teased in early 2025. Investors will listen closely for more details, especially with Elon Musk hyping the vehicle as a game changer for global demand. He's bullish on Tesla's robotaxi ambitions, expects autonomous ride-hailing business could become a future profit center. Really? Wow. Who knew? Anyway, so the revenue downgrade was the big surprise there, although he's all by himself on that number. But he keeps his bullish position. So what do you think?
So he's saying that in 2 days, Wednesday night, they're going to announce the Q2 numbers for revenue.
Right.
And he's saying that would be down at 22.
Did I say 241? I think it was 241 billion.
22.4 billion.
I'm sorry,
21.4.
20, lost it now. 24.1. I'm sorry. No, he was at 24.1. He's now at 21.
Okay. So Q1 2025. Let's just let me share this up here. Okay. So last quarter we had 19.3 billion in revenue, and we have 345,000. I think it was 327 delivered. Total delivered 336. 336, and then we made 362. So now we have 384. So we are at 48,000 more cars delivered. So just shy of 50,000. So 50,000 times 40,000 would be about $2 billion. So instead of 14 billion in auto revenue, we're at 16, right? And so it should be 21.4, right? If it was, that number, which, him being up at 24 after they gave the delivery number seems like, what was he talking about? Because, you can get to 22 or something like that by saying, okay, energy storage revenue, service other revenue, tax credits and stuff. You can move it up by, I don't know, $500 million or something like that to get to 22, right? But being up at 24 after they said we delivered 50,000 more cars, like if we delivered like 440,000 cars, 100,000 more, then that would be different, right? So, I don't see.
So you're thinking his revised number is actually probably closer to reality.
Yeah, it's closer to reality, but it's like it's not news. It's like he could have said that almost 3 weeks ago, when the number came out.
Got it. So all right, and so the number that everybody seems to be I haven't seen the community's numbers yet, but the consensus numbers, the Wall Street numbers, et cetera, seem to be around 39 to 40 cents in earnings. And does that sound right to you? Do you think it's a high, low? What do you think?
Again, there's not much range that we can talk about here because they gave you delivery numbers, they gave you, production, and so it's like you can move it, a few hundred million, a half billion, right? Maybe a whole billion because a bunch of, you know, currency thing. They've had a good model that said, here's what happened with currencies and with whatever stuff, and they can get a different number, right? I haven't done the details of it. Other people have.
Sure.
So those ranges, again, aren't good the thing I think that moves it. Because what they can move it is actually saying, here's a robotaxi, here's,
Yes,
you know,
it's gonna be all the conversation that afternoon,
right.
yeah, in the call.
Right.
Okay, so this was a kind of an interesting one. I don't know if you, what? Yep.
Yeah. I have to pause here. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry. Just I have to shorten this up. Okay. No, sorry.
All
Yeah.
right. So an interesting story that just popped is the Stargate project down in Texas, which was the $500 billion spend from OpenAI and partners and SoftBank. Apparently ain't doing so well. The infrastructure, they're saying Elon had said at the time, hey, they don't actually have the money. And now there's a report out today that says they're settling on a more modest goal of building a small data center by year end. And they haven't got any takers so far on putting together even the first one of those big data centers that they talked about.
Yeah. I apologize. I have to hop off. So
Tesla right now in the after hours, we've got let me go ahead and take a check after being flattish today, down 0.38 in the pre-market or after hours. We got it down another 0.1%, not 10. So we're still sitting at 328.12. And a lot of the action today, a huge amount of the action today seemed to be all around the bonds, which were rallying this morning and then pulled back a bit, but still was good for the day. So where we're sitting right now on bonds is up 0.01 in the pre-market, but we had taken quite the bond yields had dropped quite nicely today, down to 3.34 and then or 3.35, I think, and then back up now to 4.38. So when all of that action, you could just watch the rest of the equities were kind of moving along with that action. In particular, of course, the Cathie Woods, but also some of the Magnificent Seven. And the Magnificent Seven actually did better today than the other indices. Oil continues to drop a little bit, back down to 67 now. A lot of people are wondering, apparently, from what I can read, they're a little nervous that whether the demand is really as high as they thought it was. And so that's why we're seeing oil back off. It's not backing off that much, but backing off some. Natural gas had backed off quite a bit this morning, is backing off a little more now, down another 0.18 at $3.32. And then gold is continuing up or back up over 3,400 again, 34.14 right now, very strong. But silver has backed off, but still at a very good number, $39.27. Copper up 0.08 at 564. Again, that's probably an all-time high at this point. We've got the Bitcoin down 954 at 117,478. Boy, that's been really flat for days. And then we've got the futures on the equities. We got the Dow at 44,585. We've got that's up 0.09. We've got S&P up 0.04 and then NASDAQ up 0.01, pretty close to flat. So markets really not showing much of an indicator of the direction for tomorrow, but at least slightly up is the directionality that we can see. All right, so what do we a couple of final ideas here. Brian, who had to leave us, is the other lead author. He and I are putting together this book on AI. If you would like to be a reader of that book, there's going to be at least 8 other authors and possibly 10 other authors participating in it. A lot of them are ones you know. Brian White and Larry Goldberg, et cetera, will all be participating, taking a chapter each. And we're going to be coming out with that in around September. So around August, around this time next month, we're going to be looking for a bunch of readers. We're looking for you to sign up now. And as a reader, what you'll get to do is you'll get the manuscript around this time next month. And then we're going to ask you to read it within 2 weeks. Yeah, I know it's a short period of time, but yeah, we know you can do it. Maybe we'll have an audio version we can send you. With the capabilities that we have today, that might be possible. So anyway, but there will be a version sent, either a PDF or a Word doc or something, for you to read. We're not looking for people to get into the nitty gritty, the details, and tell us, oh, you missed a period here, or now if you notice that kind of stuff, great. But we're not looking for line by line analysis of the punctuation or the grammar. What we're looking for is factual inaccuracies that we can confirm or deny. We're looking for analytical errors. Oh my gosh, Randy, how could you possibly have come to that conclusion based on the facts on the ground? And then the third thing we're looking for, of course, is readability. We want this to be something that the average citizen out there can read and get a clue anyway. Sometimes, some of it's going to be technical enough that, somebody's going to need a little education to understand it thoroughly, but hopefully they can at least understand it well enough to kind of get an idea of what's going to be happening in the future. So those are the things we're going to be looking for people to do. Now, if you sign up as a reader, that has two other obligations. One of those is to buy the book when it first comes out in the first few days. And that's probably going to be a huge expense, about $5 or less. And then we're also asking for a review of the book to go on Amazon, an honest review to go on Amazon, unless, of course, your review is less than 5 stars. And then I'm half kidding. Anyway, so that's the whole story. If that sounds like it'd be kind of an interesting thing to do, and you'd like to participate, help support me, help support Brian Wang, help support actually all of those other individuals, because all of them will gain, we'll all end up getting more people watching our shows and more people following us on X. So if you'd like to support the whole crew, just go ahead and send me an email at randykirk77@gmail.com, and we will be very excited to have you as part of the team. All right, that's all I've got for you. Oh, let's see. Let me let you know that coming up tonight is Brian White. We're going to be talking about the cafe. We're going to be talking a ton about the cafe, all kinds of details about the cafe. And then last night, if you didn't watch it, I did a video about semi-truck. Lots and lots of details about semi-truck. I'm going to put that card up in case you want to go back and check that out if you haven't already seen it. All right, now I think I'm all done, and it's been great talking to you.